Good evening, I'm Byron Scott with a CTV News update. Tens of thousands of people gathered at the Lincoln Memorial on the 57th anniversary of the March on Washington and Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech. This year's commemoration is organized by the National Action Network and the family of George Floyd. Marchers are demanding criminal justice reform. It is called Get Your Knee Off Our Next Commitment March and will feature, among others, the families of unarmed black people who were killed by police. Martin Luther King III and Al Sharpton were among the speakers. The event included speeches from the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, followed by a march to the MLK Memorial. A police-involved shooting in Howard County leaves a suspected impaired motorist dead. It happened just after 2 o'clock this morning on I-95 in Elk Ridge. Investigators say a state trooper saw a vehicle weaving across lanes of traffic. Police pulled the car over and backup was called. But as the trooper attempted to take the keys out of the ignition, the driver allegedly drove off, dragging the trooper 2,000 feet down the highway. The officer was able to shoot the driver, who was pronounced dead at the scene. He's been identified as 36-year-old Julio Cesar Moran Ruiz of Baltimore. The incident remains under investigation. Both troopers have been placed on administrative leave pending the outcome of that investigation. Well, Maryland officials say all public school systems meet a new set of benchmarks for some in-person instruction. Governor Hogan and Maryland School Superintendent Karen Salmon's comments yesterday came just days before school begins for many local jurisdictions. The announcement upset many teachers' unions in local jurisdictions, including Prince George's County.
Everywhere you see where schools have started to reopen, they all have to walk it back almost immediately because people are showing up with COVID. So, I mean, that's just the state of the world right now. And I'm really happy that, of course, Angela Alsobrooks said, yeah, thanks, but no thanks. The other thing is, since he had already said that it was up to each jurisdiction anyway, why would he come out with this message now encouraging anyone to reopen? He's already given that authority to each jurisdiction. So why is he even saying anything? It seems political to me.
All districts in Maryland will begin the school year with virtual instruction, but 16 plan to bring some students back by mid-September. 8 districts, including Prince George's and Montgomery counties, will remain closed for the entire fall semester. Well, just days before the new school year, kids across the county took part in a virtual orientation day today. While youngsters won't have in-person classes this fall, teachers still wanted to meet their students online. Principal Megan Ashworth says the session familiarized parents and kids with new virtual learning tools.
Our mock orientation virtual session today was really important because we just wanted to make sure that students and parents could get connected with their classroom teacher via Zoom and get all the information on how to access the schedule, how to access Google Classroom, and just to get familiar and acclimated to all the features that they're going to be using this school year.
Ashworth suggests that parents try to keep a normal schedule for their children and communicate with their teachers. With the White House as his backdrop and fireworks in the sky, President Donald Trump accepted the GOP nomination for a second term. It was the final night of the RNC, and a number of congressional Republicans and cabinet members were on hand for his acceptance speech. During his remarks, Trump claimed that unemployment numbers for minorities were the lowest in years. He also continued to blame the Chinese government for the spread of the coronavirus and renewed his attacks on Joe Biden.
Unfortunately, from the beginning, our opponents have shown themselves capable of nothing but a partisan ability to criticize. When I took bold action to issue a travel ban on China very early indeed, Joe Biden called it hysterical and xenophobic. And then I introduced a ban on Europe very early again. If we had listened to Joe, hundreds of thousands more Americans would have died. Instead of following the science, Joe Biden wants to inflict a painful shutdown on the entire country. His shutdown would inflict unthinkable and lasting harm on our nation's children, families, and citizens of all backgrounds.
Meantime, Democratic vice presidential candidate Kamala Harris was on the campaign stump yesterday. She addressed a number of issues concerning Americans, like the impact of Hurricane Laura and the recent shooting of Jacob Blake in Wisconsin.
Alarming and disproportionate rate at which Black, Latino, and Indigenous families are contracting and dying of COVID-19. That is the reality of America right now. A reality completely absent from this week's Republican National Convention. Because unlike the Democratic Convention, which was very clear-eyed about the challenges we are facing and how we will tackle them, the Republican Convention is designed for one purpose: to soothe Donald Trump's ego, to make him feel good. But here's the thing. He's the President of the United States. And it's not supposed to be about him. It's supposed to be about the health and the safety and the well-being of the American people.
And Hurricane Laura is expected to bring severe weather as it moves east with winds of 150 miles per hour. The storm barreled into southern Louisiana yesterday, killing at least 6 people. Laura has weakened to a tropical depression. However, a flash flood watch has been issued for at least 6 states, including Tennessee and Kentucky. Laura will bring a cold front, heavy rain, and possible flash flooding to the northeast on Saturday from Philadelphia to New York City and southern New England. Well, a reminder from police tonight: don't leave your car running, take your keys, and keep valuables out of sight. Now, they're issuing this warning because of an incident on Thursday. Police say a mother drove up to a convenience store on Annapolis Road for a quick stop, but got out of the car, left it running, and her 9-month-old child inside. Moments later, 2 people drove off with the baby still inside, and while the baby was found unharmed a short time later, the incident was one of 286 jump-in car thefts this year. Jump-in car thefts in Prince George's have increased 362% since 2019. Well, police want to know if you've seen this woman. She is 64-year-old Carol Carter, and she's been missing since Tuesday morning. Carter was last seen at around 10 o'clock on the 1800 block of Charity Lane in Accokeek. Police say she was driving a silver 2014 Buick Regal with Florida tags. Any more information on her whereabouts is asked to contact the authorities. And we're continuing to recognize notable people of the women's suffrage movement in honor of the 100th anniversary of the 19th Amendment, which gave some women access to the ballot box. Today, Patricia Vallone brings us the story of Adelina Otero Warren.
Adelina Isabel Emilia Luna Otero was born in 1881 on her family's hacienda near Los Lunas, New Mexico. The Otero family were wealthy and politically powerful in the Rio Abajo, or the lower region of what is now New Mexico. She became active in New Mexico politics and worked toward women's suffrage. In 1912, she moved to New York City. While there, Nina volunteered at a settlement house in the city. Luna Otero caught the attention of Alice Paul, who tapped her in 1917 to head the New Mexico chapter of the Congressional Union, a precursor to the National Woman's Party. Paul and other suffragists had realized that the support of the Hispanos in New Mexico was crucial to winning suffrage. Nina was an ideal choice. She insisted that suffrage literature be published in both English and Spanish in order to reach the widest audience.
A free bike helmet giveaway was held in Glenarden this afternoon. It was put on by the Department of Public Works and Parks and Recreation. Kids received free helmets, and they also learned about bike safety. They were also given free meals and footballs and soccer balls.
It has been proven through research that a bicycle helmet is the best device to reduce head injuries from crashes as well as reduce fatalities. And so more and more individuals are out biking this summer, and so we wanted to ensure that children and adults as well are safe using bicycle helmets.
Families are having difficult times now, so we're proud to be a partner with other agencies to help provide support for those families. And at the same time, we're also thinking about safety. Our kids are out and doing some things in our parks, on our trails, and we want them to be safe.
That event took place at the Glenarden Community Center. Well, small businesses struggling during the pandemic have a helping hand. It's called the Emerge Stronger Business Recovery and Resilience Program. Organizations that apply for the county's Business Recovery Initiative can take part. It features a series of counseling and financial workshops.
One of the most important things that we feel our businesses need to know is that there are resources available to them to help them be successful, whether that's showing them a different way of doing their inventory or a different way of showing them how to market themselves and pivot in crisis situation.
Prince George's Economic Development Corporation, FSC First, and Bowie Bick partnered to create the program. For more information, visit emergestronger.pgc.com. As we told you yesterday, one of D.C.'s longest-running jazz clubs has closed its doors for good due to the pandemic. Founded 33 years ago by twin sisters from Ethiopia, Twins held court at 1344 U Street Northwest. The owners released a statement yesterday saying the decision to close is very difficult, and despite concerted efforts to keep it running over the past 5 months, it was unfeasible for Twins to operate as a brick-and-mortar business. Among those who appeared at Twins over the years was pianist Kenny Drew, sax player David Fathead Newman, and DC bassist Herman Burney, who has performed and recorded at Twins numerous times.
You know, when I first moved back to DC, I think it was 2003 maybe. You know, I'd heard about Twins. I wanted to go in there, and one of my mentors, he suggested that they call me. So I was real excited, man. I was going down there with all my gear and dressed up and everything, and got a chance to play at Twins. And I was like, yeah. And and that was just the beginning of being able to play there. Over the years, it's always has been like just a good vibe in there, in terms of the music. Great musicians have played in there. Twins has been around for a long time, and this is actually my not being surprised is a direct follow-up to the conversation that you and I had earlier in terms of the COVID-19 quarantine, et cetera. And that is, it's unfortunate, very, very sad and unfortunate that Twins has closed. And the no surprise part is that it's a artifact of where we are now with this environment. COVID has caused a lot of quarantining, and a lot of places have closed. Unfortunately, it's an example of a place that, as far as we know now, it just didn't make it, through this time frame. Hopefully, it's not permanent. Maybe they can come back later on and do something when everybody kind of figures out where we are, what we're doing.
To that end, owners Kelly and Mays Tesfaye say they will continue to search for ways to support the area's jazz community. We're looking now to your weather forecast for the weekend. Tonight, expect scattered showers and thunderstorms with gusty winds. Tomorrow, showers and possible T-storms continue throughout the day with a high of 84 and a low of 67. Sunday, the sun returns with daytime temps in the mid-80s and evening temps in the low 60s. And that wraps up our newscast for tonight. Join us on Monday at 4:30. Good night.
For the latest information on COVID-19 in Maryland, visit the State Health Department website. That's health.maryland.gov. Again, health.maryland.gov. Click the link to the COVID-19 information portal. There you'll find all of the latest information about coronavirus. You'll find daily updates on cases and fatalities. Answers to questions about testing and the governor's stay-at-home order are available as well. For specific information about Prince George's, visit princegeorgescountymd.gov. That's princegeorgescountymd.gov. The site offers information about local services for residents and businesses. There's a link for COVID-19 relief donations. Also, food pantry locations are listed. And if you have any questions, call the county COVID-19 hotline at 301-883-6627. That's 301-883-6627.
Native American contributions are all around us. Here's one. Can you find it? Camouflage. More at sacredpeople.org.
It's so sad. It's not.